Okay, and I'm welcoming everyone, and I'm welcoming the girls who are looking up to that video, probably recorded and broadcasted at YouTube. And together with me, it's an honor for me to present Helen Haykin. I would say that Helen is a professional negotiator, but it's my opinion, right? You will have the time, Helen, to tell me yours. Helen is a partner right now, a general partner, right, in Digital Horizon VC. But before that, Helen had a great background in PE. And as Helen has said once to me, she was selling the ships, the boats, and the plants. So this is also the part that is particularly very interesting for us to discuss. But nevertheless, I would like you to introduce yourself, to give your short intro to the girls that are coming and that are watching.
Thank you very much for this very kind invitation, and I'm very, very happy to be here. And ask me any questions. I'll be delighted to share my experiences and maybe provide you with certain, ideas and life hacks and whatever is needed. Because apparently, yes, my background, I think you might find quite fascinating, and it wasn't made on purpose, so part of it is based on the fact that I was born in Morocco, which is by itself a very, very interesting fact, especially when I'm showing my driving license or my passport. I mean, 98% of the time, people tend to ask me, "Oh, you were born in Casablanca," and then they go like, "Oh, so romantic," "Oh, so far away," or "What were you doing there?" So it's a very nice way to start a conversation with a police officer at the immigration counter or whatever. And I use it quite often, so even with the traffic police, when something happens, not very serious, but still, if they stop me somewhere in Moscow or somewhere, it just, "Oh, you were born in Casablanca," and then I said, yes, I keep smiling, and then the whole situation goes away. So I'm an embassy kid. I grew up in various embassies around the world, mostly in the Middle East. I have legal background, so I graduated from the Moscow State University, and then I moved to the States, and I went to law school in New York. And then I spent almost 13 years, maybe 15 years, advising with two international law firms on various M&A deals, selling plants and ships and all stuff, which provided me with a huge experience. And at some point, I just realized that I really want to be at the front office of business rather than being a maybe very professional, quite glamorous, but still support staff. So, and the experience is pretty much the same in the legal profession. So you can deepen your expertise, but still it's more or less quite the patterns are quite the same. So I switched myself into pure business and joined quite large private equity investment company in Moscow and started working as a PT specialist. In parallel, I graduated from my MBA program, also from NYU, my second favorite alma mater. And now I'm a venture investor. I quit a private equity firm in 2018, and now I'm a partner with Digital Horizon, which is an international venture capital company, and we have actually two legs. We run a venture builder in Russia, and we act as a fund, as a proper venture capital fund, with offices in London and Tel Aviv, investing in various early stage. Now we are opening up a new track for pre-IPO stage, late stage companies, mostly in fintech, like tech companies, business, different enterprise solutions, and different business tech solutions, but mostly fintech, edutech, not blockchain, but we do involve ourselves into not cryptocurrencies. We do involve ourselves into blockchain solutions. However, we try to still monitor, but not get ourselves too much involved into cryptocurrencies. So that's a little bit of a background, and happy to answer any of your questions.
Yeah, this is like a bouquet of everything. And especially, I think that since our topic of this month is communication and how to build up your communications towards your partners or your clients and so on, I would like first probably to ask you, do you have one style of communication, of negotiations, or it was evolving from the law firm to PE to venture capital? Do you see any difference between probably the strategies in all of the segments? And do you see the difference of you and your male partners in that, like sitting on the table of negotiations?
The short answer would be yes and yes. Let me tell you in more detail. Well, apparently, when you're an advisor, your style is completely different from a person who is taking business decisions or driving a process. And apparently that was also a personal transformation, not only professional transformation, because I started when I was a 19-year-old girl as a paralegal with a law firm, and now I'm a full-fledged partner with a venture capital company. And I mean, that was like a journey, so a transformation, a process which transformed me not only professionally but also personally. So now I'm much more relaxed. I know the routines. I can predict what kind of negotiations I'm going to have this morning or that evening. I'm going to, I'm leading the process. So there is also always like my game element, even if I'm not like a lead investor, or I'm not driving this show. I'm still having this kind of a my game concept in building those relationships and driving those negotiation routines. So basically, it's the transformation from being just an advisor, a legal advisor, when businesses, they ask you for your advice and you're just advising, to someone who is running business, who is making decisions and is responsible for the outcomes. It's a completely different, not completely different, but it's a different setup. And I've been through a lot of training, apparently in a law school, during my professional career, in the business school. So apparently we know how it works, what is the negotiation process, we know what is this win-win, and there are so many strategies. But in real life, you always try, I mean, at least I always try to build those bridges. So the purpose is not to be right. The purpose is not to support your ego, but the process is the purpose is to come to a certain result, which will be beneficial, mutually beneficial, or just beneficial to all of the parties. I'm not sure. I mean, the picture is frozen, so I'm not sure if you see me or you hear me. So I can continue, of course, but I'm not really sure if I'm still online, but I hope the recording will somehow fix it. Anyway, if we will need to repeat any of this, I'm happy to do that. So basically, oh, I see, Irina has left apparently, but I can continue speaking. Irina also asked me a question about the difference, male and female difference in building those negotiation routines and building those relationships. I find it much more easier now. I think when I was younger and when I was just starting, like almost 20 years ago, it was much more difficult for me, because not only because I was young or female, just because I wasn't that experienced, and I didn't really want to be, mimicking the male style of work, because those ladies who are much older, like 10, 20, 30 years older than I am, and who were also building their careers in the male dominant environment, they had to, to some extent, they had to mimic the male patterns, just to be maybe more aggressive, more strict, more dry in their style. While I believe we do have a privilege now, this generation and those who are younger, like 10, 20 years younger, we do have this privilege of we like, and be maybe more soft, or more
like we have
spontaneous.
more options to choose, right? Like
Exactly.
in playing.
Irina, you're back. Have you heard everything I said? Because I continued
I'm sorry.
speaking so that we do have it.
I got a little bit frozen. Yeah, as I was telling Helen that I'm now from my new apartment, so I'm sorry for the connection hiccup. But I think that it was fate, because I needed to switch to my phone, and you're also from your phone, so we're now like it's a peer connection. Should be much more deeper. Yeah. So
I continued speaking, so
yes,
I hope it will be recorded.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
That's sure. I wanted to get back to the point of yours about my game. So how do you probably define it? I mean, once you're coming and you're seeing who will be your counterparts, or what is their behavior, and then only you think, okay, I need to be softer, or you choose some reference point, or also, as you have mentioned, male role models. Maybe you have also some role models, male, female, whatsoever. So what is my game?
you want all secrets revealed, but apparently there is no secret, honestly. First is that I try to come really good prepared, not only just because it's, professional to be prepared, but it also kind of puts the level of your anxiety down. When you have all of your arguments, you have a proper thought process, and you have your position, and you're more ready to you have enough arguments to protect your position. You are more or less ready. Where is your floor, and where is your ceiling. So basically you are putting yourself in a certain corridor in which you are very, very confident, just from the facts point of view, from the argumentation point of view, not necessarily legal or financial. Maybe it's just, I don't know, scientific or whatever. And you feel quite comfortable in saying, this is outside my corridor, or outside my expertise. I don't know. I'm not experienced in this field, but I can ask someone, or we can ask someone together, or we can seek this information from those sources. But it's just the confidence thing in your voice, in your body language, and this confidence is based on the arguments which you have prepared for yourself. Not necessarily you would use them, but that you have them, and that builds this ground of confidentiality. Second, I try not to get manipulated by, there is like a genuine manipulation when a person knows he or she is manipulating, and sometimes it's just a manipulation and the person doesn't really understand that he or she is manipulating, just because that's their way of living, so that's a psychological thing. So when I see that they are actually manipulating and just trying to step back, I try to use this like a pause. Oh, what a wonderful weather, or can I have some coffee, or by the way, you mentioned this, can we discuss this? Something not like that straightforward, to downgrade the level of anxiety, and make it like an easy environment. And I think it's quite a feminine thing, because we are not that result oriented. Apparently we are result oriented, but we can kind of notice certain things that are within the process that eventually will bring us to certain results. So I'm happy to step back and, I don't know, just relax the air, the environment, the atmosphere in the negotiation room, so that all people feel that I'm not aggressive. I'm not like I'm pushing towards my position, but I'm not like, it's not personal, it's just business. And I'm telling them, guys, here is uh, here is the, I don't know, the level of my flexibility. So it starts here and it ends here within this corridor. Let's discuss, let's see if we have a solution. If not, then we should escalate, we should take it to some other round. Let's revisit, let's find out if we have additional information. So all sorts of tools we can use, but I'm not trying to, to come to bring it to a deal breaker. So I'm trying to relax the situation. The difference is, I guess, more cultural rather than gender driven, because Americans, for example, or even Russians, they're very straightforward, and I love it. I mean, it's much easier. But in the UK, for example, you have to dance for quite some time, to come to a proper conversation and to have it like like a straight to the point conversation. Or like in Israel, it's like, it's a process for the sake of the process, and you just step in this process and you just start arguing. There's some Eastern thing when you have to, like, in the market, you have to be in the process of negotiations all the time, and there is nothing personal, you just keep negotiating, and it's like also kind of a dance. So there are very, very many cultural elements to this. I've never worked with any of the Japanese counterparts, just once, long time ago, and it wasn't like really serious, just one set of negotiations. But my sister, for example, she speaks Japanese and she knows a lot about the culture. So I guess if you come to the negotiation room with Japanese counterparts, you have to be really well prepared in terms of the cultural differences. So there are so many elements to this. So as I mentioned, I guess it's just, it's a process, and we have to be mindful about the process of negotiations rather than the result. And answering your question about my game, it's, it's about the fact that what will I consider to be a good result for my negotiations. Like, if I still have this relationship with these counterparties, so we are not enemies after we leave the negotiation room, what was my goal? The goal towards this negotiation circle. So not necessarily the whole deal or the whole transaction or the whole thing, but for this particular 2-hour session, for example, what was my goal? And it's absolutely important to have the goal before you enter the negotiation room, before you pick up the phone, before you start saying something. You have to have this goal, so it forms you. It gives you this direction, and people can sense it, that you're not just here to blah blah, just to spend time or just to introduce yourself, but you have a specific goal. Whether or not you'll reach it, it's a different question, but you're here to build the relationships. You have your goal, and this is my game. So I'm driving you towards my goal. I know you also have your game, you also have your goal, and you're driving me towards your goal, and somewhere in the middle of it, hopefully, we'll meet and discuss. But you always have to, keep it in the spectrum, so always on the horizon, but not like, it's my goal and I'm driving towards my goal and I don't see anything around. It's very important to be mindful about the process as well.
Yeah, this is also a very interesting point, that there is a compromise and consensus. So you're not, I think that in terms of, or you have just your own opinion and you go for that. I'm just think that you've mentioned sort of lots of points, lots of criteria on girls' behavior. And I think that one big thing in the room sometimes, well, for me and for my acquaintances for sure, is that girls like to be likable, and this actually gets all your goals orientations sometimes like I'm sorry, but yeah, it just goes like so much out of the order. And probably you've struggled with that. How did you deal with that? I mean, yeah, so you're coming into the war room, into the negotiation room, like saying, okay, I have this goal and I need to build that, and I do this and that. But then you're just I don't know, catching up yourself at this moment when you're like, well, I think that I'm not doing what I've planned in here. Like, how to choose, probably, like from that point on, the other, not pattern, but something, some other behavior, some other style, or in general, like also to be a power posed woman and just like, okay, I'm not likable, I'm just doing my job.
I think it's
What's
a
it for you?
compromise. For me, it's a question of priorities. So my I just know that I'm likable. It's just
Yes, exactly.
it's just that I enter the negotiation room, and I know, it's like in the motherhood. There is Winnicott, a very, very famous psychologist. He just said a phrase that saved a lot of young mothers from depression. He said, "Remember, you are always a sufficiently good mother. You're not just perfect, or something. You are sufficiently good, and that's enough for your child. If you are sufficiently good, so your child gets a meal 3 times per day and he or she sleeps for 8 hours per day, that's okay. That's it. So you're a sufficiently good mother. Everything else comes with a bonus. So when I live my life, professional life, personal life, I just know, I genuinely know that everything is fine with me and with you and with you and with you. So we're all good. We are all sufficiently good here. We are here to negotiate and come to a certain conclusion, compromise, consensus, decision, whatever. And then starting from this point, you start driving the process, prioritize. So you have your priority towards the goal. Apparently, your goal is your priority, but you're not going to ruin everything in order to get to your goal. So, and if you know that you're okay, you just drive this process. And if people start manipulating, then I step back. I can even say, it sounds like a manipulation. Can we just maybe discuss something else? Because I'm now not ready to discuss this. Let's revisit in 15 minutes or after the lunch break or the next time we have a call, because now this process is driving us nowhere. And the fact that I'm saying that means that I'm taking the leading role and this is my game. So I'm like switching the situation. No, 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 no. If you're going from the point of view that you're getting too emotional, or you're trying to tell me something that there was like a mistake on my side, or my team did something wrong, or we told you like 2 weeks ago, we sent you an email and it was literally stated there this and this and that, and now you're telling us what this. I'm trying to say, okay, maybe you're right, but the question is different. I'm now trying to discuss with you this rather than that. And but you have to have this, unlimited confidence. It's like
Like this
something that is,
self-sufficiency,
yeah,
as you
yeah,
say.
it's sufficient, and it never goes away. So you always have this level of confidence that you know that you are sufficiently good, whatever happens, even if you never have this deal, even if you never sign this contract, even if you, I don't know, never be friends with this person, you're still sufficiently good. And this opens up a lot of doors. So you just say, it's irrelevant whether I'm male or female. It's irrelevant whether I'm 20, 40, or 60 years old. It's irrelevant whether I'm Russian, Jew, Afro-American, or white Christian male. It's just irrelevant, because I'm sufficiently good and you are sufficiently good and we're all sufficiently good. And from this mindset, it forms a very good atmosphere. Even if one person keeps reminding by its behavior. I'm now I would never say that in the negotiation role, what I'm telling this is just the way I behave. So it's and it drives the process. But of course, like answering your question, the priority number one is your goal.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that there is even, you were speaking about motherhood, and I was reading the book on transaction psychology that is called like, You Are Okay, I'm Okay. So it just goes that from the point that when the baby is born, he or she thinks that I'm not fine, I'm not okay, but you are okay. So he or she leans towards the parents, adults, and so on around him or her. But then after a while, the baby, when turning a kid and so on, should think that he's also sufficiently good. And I think that, yeah, probably it could be a cultural trait of Russian speaking girls sometimes. I think that, or maybe Eastern European in general, that we think that you are good and we are not so good, and we are like leaning towards that. But well, yeah, I think it's like anthropology, but it's a very interesting issue to discuss. I also wanted to mention that you said about like manipulators that are not consciously doing the manipulation, but probably they're just organic in it or natural to that. So you're also like stepping back, or what do you choose into that, like shaman people?
Well, it's again also depends on your inner resource. If you had a good week before, if you had your breakfast, if you had your coffee, you slept well, there's everything fine in your family, you come in there and you see this organic manipulator, understanding that this person doesn't understand that what is he actually doing. And it's you can even throw something to him or her, which would be very pleasant. Sometimes you can just say, oh, I like your tie, and it will win you like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Is it manipulation? Apparently. But is this something he or she is seeking for? Of course. I mean, you can say, oh, hi, it's so nice to see. Oh, what wonderful shoes do you have? So something very simple, but sometimes it's not appropriate. Sometimes or if you don't know this person, I can do that if I know this person and I know that this is appropriate. But if it's not, I would refrain from doing this. I'll do something else. Would you like some coffee? Would you like to have a cup of tea or a glass of water or something? Oh, by the way, is this new MacBook Air? How do you like it? It's a brand new one. So something very, very neutral. So because usually these people are just seeking for attention or special status or something like that. So those are like very, very simple hints. Apparently, sometimes they just don't work. You just do this, or you don't, or you understand that you wouldn't be able to, even if you say that the persons wouldn't be buying that. But I mean, there are always ways. So I try to experiment all the time, and every situation is different. So every situation I try to find this way. And again, it's very, very, very feminine. I think that we as women, we know how to adjust ourselves. We have this sense of the situation. We have those feelings, and we can use them. And I do use them a lot. So I know that I have my facts ready. I have my arguments ready, and I try to be in the resourceful stance, in order to be able to use and to maneuver and to be flexible. And I try not to take anything personal. I know it's a process, and those people usually don't know me, don't really know me, and they don't really care about me. I mean, they do, but I mean, to a certain extent. So they will play their game, and I mean, it's just a process.
Yeah, well, I think that's totally the point that we are trying and in our community to speak about is that so there are two main streams of modern feminism or postmodern feminism, I would say. The first one is this Sheryl Sandberg, lean in. It's like raise your hand, do this, like go on the field, like try to raise, etc. And the second stream is that use your power in whatever way you want. So like being more intuitive doesn't hurt. So you should, if you want to raise a hand, raise a hand. If you don't want, then find your own game. So yeah, I think that I'm tend to more
And
the
we're all
second one
equal.
is it. Yeah.
We're all equal. The thing is that I dream, and I hope we'll soon come to a point when we will realize that we are different, but we are equal. It's not like I'm a male and I'm better, or I'm stronger, or yes, you might be physically stronger, or you might be even clever, or something more experienced, or your mind is just quicker, and that's fine. But I have my own credentials. I have my own expertise, and I have my own style. Let's try to put it together and see how it works. So it's not like being a male is bad or being a female is bad or something like it's. I hope we will stop considering it at the extremes, and then in a good sense we'll try to marry it, so that there is something, a third creature, which will be mutually beneficial. Created.
Yeah, there's no controversy. Exactly. So it's like a DNA of everything and everyone, sort of thing. But I want also to move on to the cultural differences. Since you have like a lot of experience and expertise and so on, and especially, for example, your family members can tell you and some other cultures that you haven't been working with, for example, probably you have some points that you like in some culture and in communications, let's say it like that, and you tend to use them on your own. I mean, for example, some of the small talk techniques, or the gesture with your head, with your arms, with your hands, and so on.
I'm I'm not that self-conscious, probably. So I'm just trying to express myself, and as you said, I'm myself as a I guess I'm a bouquet of different elements from different cultures. Like for example, in Arab world, I really like the fact that people are so into even just in their words, but it's we're speaking about the atmosphere, we're speaking about the style, so they would always ask you about your family. They would always tell, oh Lena, hi, in a very mild voice. Oh Lena, hi, how are you? How's your sister? How's your mother? How was your family? Oh, okay, inshallah, it's so nice. It's okay. Would you like some coffee? Oh, inshallah. Oh, it's so nice. It's just a very good setting to have. It's very nice. It's like we spot more important things. We speak about the family, we speak about your health, about your general, sense of life. It's very important. And they all do this. Those people with whom you negotiate, oh, it's so nice, it's so lovely to see you. Like in Russia, for example, like in the States, people are very straightforward, and I like it also very much. So they kind of close this discussion on how's your family, and they get straight to the business. And then you have, okay, we have 1 hour, or we only have 58 minutes left. We have a long agenda. Let's get started. And okay, question number 1. And you just go and discuss. I like it also very much.
And what about startups?
Again, in the end.
Uh-huh.
It's the same, you know. Apparently, they wouldn't ask me. They wouldn't ask me. Most of them wouldn't ask me about my family. It would be highly unusual if they would say, "Oh, hello, Lena, how's your family?" No, but in Dubai, for example, they can. In Dubai, they can. I wouldn't be surprised if they ask me. But in London or in Moscow, highly unlikely they would. Yeah, but I mean, again, in startups community, I wanted to say something about Great Britain. In the UK, for example, I also like this style that you have to be very polite. That all your emails and all your words around your message, maybe it takes longer, but still it makes you feel better. So it doesn't ruin your confidence. And even if you receive certain criticism or something like a nice strong argument, it is in such a way that you are able to digest it. You're able to accept it and start digesting it rather than you push back. So there is a flip side on this of this coin. So on one side, I like when it's very straightforward, but on the other side, if they are, especially if the argument is strong, I would prefer the way of delivering it. So that's, and I tend to do the same. So if my message is very strong and I know that it's very strong, it's going to be very strong, I try to start, from the very far away and just bringing my message in a more mild, soft way. Among startups, well, I'm very, very pleased with the dynamic we see in the startups ecosystems in all jurisdictions, in all countries. Like 5-10 years ago, it was like, they were like kids, really afraid to ask, or it was like in the test room, in the examination. So, and I was considering myself always like, a strong professor, strict professor in the university. Now it's getting much, much better. So now we have like a meaningful business discussion with those startups, even early stage startups, even with the entrepreneurs who are not yet serial entrepreneurs, but just starting. And I feel that the level of confidence and expertise, backed up by the expertise, not just I'm confident per se, but I mean, I'm backed up by the expertise, is increasing incredibly. And it's very, I'm really pleased. It's very important that we are building this element of this ecosystem among all founders. I see it in Europe, I see it in the States, I see it here in Israel. So it's remarkable how fast market is being built and develops.
And it's amazing.
It's getting to be very solid,
Yeah, I think that it's getting to be, yes, that is getting to be institutionalized. I mean, there are certain now rules, and there are the alternative routes, which I also adore in VC, because not so far long ago, there was just one way, J curve, let's go up each 18 months, you need to receive the money from some investor, and the more American it would be, the better. But now everything changed. You can go up to, not to the USA, but to Africa, Asia, Europe, Latam, and so on. So that's basically very mature behavior. And you also know the probability that, of course, there are risks of everything. But if you don't try, you will not see. And even if the risks will come true, well, that's life. It's also kind of compensation, also the mechanism for VC. It's not like we are looking for the unicorns and everyone should be a unicorn, a potential unicorn. No, we all know that.
Of course, everyone has to be a unicorn. Of course. We're looking for unicorn always, but yes, we do support other startups, and basically even as you correctly mentioned, in all jurisdictions.
Yeah. And I want again to move to another topic, which I think is very interesting for our girls today because of the communications topic and so on, about personal branding. Have you done it? Are you doing it? What is your experience, maybe? And probably some of the recommendations, tips, up what to do to build it or not, locally or globally. What do you think?
Yes, to build it and globally, but but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it precisely, but I read a lot and I like this topic, and I'm following a lot of bloggers and accounts advising on personal branding strategies and things like that. So in theory, I know a lot about personal branding, but as regards practice, at some point, uh, I was asking myself, what would be genuine? What would be the right way of building it? Because when you lie or when you're kind of pretending to be something else, it's very energy consuming. B, people can sense it, so you cannot trick around it. And C, you cannot do it for a long period of time. So at some point you'll have to stop. So apparently you can fake it until you make it, but for me it wasn't working as well. So at some point I just decided, with regards to my Instagram page, my Facebook page, my interviews, or my columns I'm writing, that I'll just express my genuine view, and I'll just express myself, and I will share my experiences, and that's it. So and it became very easy, at some point I just thought, okay, no pretending, I'm not trying to put certain image in front of me. It's just me. So I'm just following the flow, and uh, irrespective of the feedback I'm getting, I'll continue doing that. And and this experience was quite successful, I would say. So I know that people are following me and people are interested, and I know that there is a lot of feedback. And I mean, maybe if I decide like to monetize it at some point, I would do something with it, and there will be like a producer who will be helping me or something. But I'm not there, still not there, and I'm not sure it's genuine. I think that at some point, the most important, the most, the um, personal brand you cherish the most would be really personal brand. Not the image, but like a real personal brand. And that's the most interesting. I think that's partly the reason, the rationale behind the TikTok success. Because in those short videos where people are dancing or doing something stupid, they are so genuine. They are not pretending. Even if they're pretending, that they're pretending. So they're pretending the way so that you understand they are pretending. And that's the most important thing. You're just following them just because you like them, you genuinely like them, not the image, but those people who are doing that.
Yeah, and speaking about platforms, what do you choose for yourself? Where do you
Still
express
Facebook
yourself?
and Instagram. Facebook and
Facebook and
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. LinkedIn as a
Yes, and
professional.
LinkedIn, but it's more professional. Yeah, I just follow my friends or acquaintances or business partners. I write something there, but that's very professional. So that's more
Okay.
about expertise rather than personal brand. And Facebook and Instagram is more about my personal expression.
Okay. And I guess it will be like one of the last, but not the least questions. Like we all have here, so we are positioning this meetup right now for experienced ladies, so not for the newcomers in tech, let's say. And I know that there is the issue. I've been asking my acquaintances and friends of the tech industry, that sometimes you feel like you are on the plateau, you are on the probably who calls it ceiling, someone calls it plateau, something. So when you do not feel that you are developing enough, but you don't know where to go, like what to do, or you're struggling, what do you suggest, like in terms of probably communications, career development, etc., what to do, like to move somewhere or just to wait and that will go? How is it according to your experience?
It's a very broad question, but my answer to this would be, the main and the most powerful thing in my experience, my personal experience, is the expertise. If a person feels that there is a plateau, I would suggest, and that's what I do all the time. You just try to deepen your efforts. You go to a conference, you try something new, you try to meet different people or new people, or you try something extra, and it will give you like the sense of development. If it has to do something with your team or your partners or your business relationships, then apparently you can have a coach, or you can have an expert who would help you go through a process. But if the question is about your personal feelings and your understanding for the following 3-5 years, what to do, how to do that, and nothing to do with your professional environment, I would suggest just thinking about your next professional development in terms of your expertise. What has happened to me when I started doing a lot of ESG and impact investing projects. At some point, I thought that, okay, this is where the world is going. I know nothing about it. And just, I want to have this expertise. I want to know more. I'm very interested in this, and I want to meet people, get involved and see how. Not necessarily I would invest millions into this, but I want to be part of this track, and I started doing it. So same with, for example, venture capital. Generally, I was a PE investor, and I thought, okay, I do not know much about venture capital as an industry. Apparently, I do have a lot of theoretical knowledge, and I even have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 5 tech companies in my portfolio, but I'm not feeling myself as part of the venture capital ecosystem. What can I do about it? And I started calling my friends, I started attending conferences, reading books, and from focusing myself to something new and gaining this expertise. Just, reviewing the financial models, reviewing the documents, speaking to founders, asking them precise questions, not just, tell me about your business, but just very, very precise questions. What's the difference between your seed round and A round fundraising campaigns, or something? Would you prefer to have a fund investing in you when you're at your seed round or your B round or whatever? So very specific questions. And it gives you, again, this background. So that's again what builds up your confidence, your professional confidence. So my advice would be just continue building up your professional expertise and confidence.
I love that we all, like, from point A, we went not up to the point B, but like made point A even more like even broader, and we're still going up to the professional confidence. I love this word. I love this phrase. And now we have, like, as a small tradition, sort of these short questions with A or B options, like you answer for yourself. So it's not like a piece of advice or just what is closer to you. So join a team or create your own.
Create my own.
Okay. Go global or act local.
Global.
Step by step or J curve.
Step by step.
Love it. This is like the most feminine thing, I think. Like, this J curve has never been chosen by our speakers. Okay, open space or separate rooms, separate spaces?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, just depends on the day. Depends. Depends on the
And
day.
the breakfast
I would prefer,
and the week before.
exactly.
Great. Well, I love also that flexibility of yours. The last book that you've read and that you can recommend to us.
Professional or just
Any that you feel like that you can
any
suggest
book of
girls.
Winnicott, my favorite, in Winnicott, a very professional psychologist. Just read it.
You will
Winnicott,
you will
American.
you will give us the link to it, to this. Okay,
for sure.
Okay,
Sure.
great. And also the last piece of news like that you've heard and you think that is remarkable that you can share.
No, it's a very famous news about people flying into the space, every week. And just, I think it's unbelievable. Just, space tourism, my favorite thing now, much more important than COVID, just if you want, here is your ticket. You can win a ticket, you just, make a present. So it's just something.
A good way to escape the reality of COVID, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's just from the, again, psychological standpoint. I think it's very, very important for our generation. Just the fact that we can do it, not necessarily you would do it, but the fact that you can do it, it's great.
It gives you more confidence in the humanity.
Exactly.
Great.
We are so cool,
that.
We can even fly there and you can just buy a ticket.
Okay, great. I love that. And thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm very glad that you gave us this boost of motivation. Especially, I think that the motivation is needed not just for the newcomers when you see even the J curve, but for the old comers already, for experienced ones who is seeking for any single support to go through this plateau and to go to another level of personal and professional development. Thanks
I'm very
a lot.
glad. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Okay, so have a nice evening, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.